In the States, there's a seaplane terminal right next to our base, Kenmore area. You could fly direct from Seattle to Nanaimo. YVR, there's seaplanes right at the airport, or downtown Vancouver. 20 minutes would get you to our base from downtown Vancouver or the airport. There's Horseshoe Bay Ferry Terminal, that's an hour and a half.
And as you say, the float planes actually land and tie up at the foot of our dock, so you couldn't have it easier. We feel that we're probably the best connected hub out of any charter company. 22 miles across the strait is the shortest distance to the Sunshine Coast, so you could be in Princess Louisa National Park in the first day of your charter. We're also at the head of the Gulf Islands, right at the top, and so that a beautiful springing off place, and that follows our caption to say, yes, we're already there. So you're not crossing any straits or everything, you're instantly into the cruising area. So we're very happy to be in Nanaimo. We think it's the perfect location. We certainly look forward to welcoming you there. If they don't have the credentials when they book the charter, we automatically put a captain on board. And folks that have never done this sort of thing before are grateful for that, because the captain will stay with the boat and make you feel as comfortable as possible, so that you can, if you wish to or are able to continue on your own, you can. But generally speaking, for folks first time off, the captain will stay with you, and by the time you've done your week or 2 week charter, you are ready to go alone. But we don't, as a rule, put people out without that sort of experience or support. So support is there for those that want it. You can charter for a week or 2 weeks or even more if you wish. There's no restriction on the length of charter. Sometimes folks take our charter boats and they'll go up to Alaska, and that's quite doable. So no, there's no limit on the charter length. You've just got to book early.
So we have direct flights from Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, into Nanaimo Airport. We'd pick you up from the ferry, you and your group. Obviously we provide full linen, dinghy, outboards all included. We have a courtesy vehicle if you want to go do your own shopping at the butcher, the liquor store, bakery, all that's up the road. Otherwise you could order your provisioning ahead of time and it would be on your boat when you get here.
A lot of people use that service. Mm-hmm. We give them a provisioning list, along with their booking details and their paperwork, and they just tick the box, and there's no grocery shopping when they arrive. Everything's put into the freezers and it's put onto the boat, so they can literally get on, and especially if they have a captain on board, they're off sailing the moment they get here. So that's an advantage. At Stones Marina we've got very easy access. It's very sheltered in the Newcastle Channel, and this boat will be very conveniently marked on the pontoons on the outside, so there's no difficulty or manoeuvring in and out of tight marina space when you get here. And what we do is we make sure that if you haven't been on the boat before, we definitely go out with you and help you off the dock. And when you come back, we're there to make sure that we meet you and bring you back onto the dock. So literally, it's like falling off a log.
But it's great that we have the fuel dock right at the end of our base, so we can walk from our base over to the fuel dock, and you would just come up alongside the fuel dock, so you don't have to worry about coming in and out of the marina.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And the boat is given to you fully fueled, and when you come back, we help you fuel it up and then take it to the dock. So it's a very painless operation.
We're very in-depth charter area briefing, yeah. So that way you feel completely comfortable about where you're going to be traveling to, what to watch out for, what you need to know when you get there. Mm-hmm. Very in-depth boat briefing before you set sail as well.
Well, sailing is our passion. I built a boat in Africa and we went off to sail around the world, and that was just with my wife and I, and after 10 years we found that we had 4 daughters and a very busy boat. So we went naturally into the charter business, and we've enjoyed it a lot since. So yeah, we're in the charter boat because we're boating people. We're in the charter business rather, because we love sailing.
we get out sailing whenever we can.
Mhm.
We just came back from doing the Yacht Master offshore round Vancouver Island trip.
I do that every year, and I teach Celestial, and she managed to master Celestial on this trip. So we're always out there having fun when we can.
All the way up from competent crew, basic sailing if you've never been on a boat before, up to Yacht Master offshore, which is 2 weeks around Vancouver Island with celestial navigation, 14 days, 14 nights. We take a minimum of the Beneteau 50, which is 5 cabins, 5 heads. If we get more students, then we take out a second boat, like we did this past year. We took out the Beneteau 40 and the 50, and we had 9 people together. And then between competent crew up to the Yacht Master offshore level, there's day skipper, coastal navigation, coastal advanced.
And we're going to add catamaran training to that too. Thanks. As I said earlier, we're at the head of the Gulf Islands. For those folks that haven't been in this area before, that's a wonderful starting point. Literally less than 45 minutes from our base, and you're through Dardanelles and into the Gulf Islands. And there are hundreds of islands with fantastic destinations. So that is a natural starting point. And you are literally in the islands in less than an hour from your departure. For those wanting to cross the strait, a very quick crossing. We're the closest crossing of any company into the Sunshine Coast, and it's, as I said, it's just a little over 20 miles, and you'll be at places like Secret Cove, Smuggler's Cove, Pender Harbour, which is a delight in itself with all its jazz festivals and music festivals in summer. And then literally a day sail from there and you are in Princess Louisa National Park.
Narrows.
Yes, you could go to the Skookumchuck Narrows and watch the fastest, strongest body of water in the world running past at over 16 knots. And you'll be entertained to see some lunatic kayakers riding the standing waves there, which adds a different dimension to the whole thing. But the walk down from Egmont, where you'll be based at Skookumchuck Narrows, is a beautiful hour's walk past Brown Lake, down through the forest, down to where the Skookumchuck runs. So that's part of the highlight of that trip. And then the next day you would progress down and through Malibu Rapids and into Princess Louisa National Park, rated by the National Geographic Travelers magazine as one of the top sailing destinations in the world. So we are truly blessed to have these magnificent cruising grounds right on our doorstep. A day after that you're in Desolation Sound, and thereafter you're into the Broughtons, and it doesn't stop there. For those going up, they can go on up to Alaska, or they can go around the corner and into the West Coast destinations, which is another trip in its own. So yeah.
I just fell in love with the West Coast this past year, down into Tassus Inlet, we started up through Desolation, Galetas Channel, Port Hardy, but down into Tassus to Queen Cove, Winter Harbor, McQuina. It's just, if you have the time,
Yeah.
it's just
Boundless.
amazing. How many whales did we see?
When we were off Claycoat Sound, I think I have never seen more whales in my life before. I think there must have been 100. It's a bit of a standing joke with us because I'm tending to exaggerate, but I've never seen as many.
There was a lot of whales.
Yeah, there were a lot of whales. All part of the joy of going on the West Coast.
They must have been migrating as we were heading south.
That's it.